You guys are a great group. I get a round of applause for walking up the stairs and not pulling a Jennifer Lawrence on the way. Yes, my name's Angela Brandt, and I'm a partner at Larson King, which is a litigation firm in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I have the honor today of presenting the Lead by Example Award. This is the highest award that we bestow on one of our male colleagues for their efforts in demonstrating a commitment to advancing women in the legal profession. And I'm particularly pleased to be presenting this award to my friend, Alan Bryan. Alan is a senior associate general counsel at Wal-Mart, where he leads the Office of Outside Counsel Management for legal operations. And there's absolutely no question that he is deserving of this award. Alan has been an active member of NAWL for many years, and he has been on planning committees and made contributions to some of our most significant programs. But the defining moment was when he said, you know, I want to do something that doesn't just aspire to help women. I want to do something that actually has an impact. And with that, the NAWL Challenge Club was born. The NAWL Challenge Club is a deliberate effort to bring together high-potential law firm lawyers who are aspiring to be equity partners with corporate counsel who are looking for talented outside counsel to hire. As a founder of the NAWL Challenge Club, Alan designed this initiative to be both an easy lift for corporations, but one that has a substantial impact on women lawyers. In addition to his work with NAWL, Alan serves on the Diversity Committee of the Federation of Defense and Corporate Counsel. He sits on the board of Direct Women. He's a member of the in-house advisory council of NAWL, and he helped develop a diversity initiative aimed at changing the legal landscape in Latin America. And I'm sure I'm forgetting many of the other things that he does with all of his free time. But he's a person who's a great connector and a great opportunity seeker and a giver. He's an excellent lawyer, a great friend. He's a Facts of Life TV show trivia buff. And he's one of the funniest people that I know. Please join me in congratulating this year's Lead by Example Award recipient, Alan Bryan.
Thank you for those kind words, Angela. Thank you also to the officers and board members of NAWL. I'm both honored by this recognition and humbled to be among its past recipients. Before I speak, there are a few others I must thank. And the first is my employer, Wal-Mart. I'm unconditionally proud to work for Wal-Mart, a company that shares my belief that the contributions and leadership of women are critical to the success of our organizations, our economy, and our society. To Phyllis Harris, Senior Vice President of Legal Operations for Wal-Mart, for her mentorship and leadership. Thank you, Phyllis. For my General Counsel, Karen Roberts, who could not be here today, I thank her. In late summer 2014, I had a meeting with Karen Roberts, and I made sure to save the last 10 minutes so I could tell her about a new initiative that NAWL had announced. And it took her about 5 minutes to reach across the table and grab the pledge sheet, making Wal-Mart the first corporate member of the NAWL Challenge Club. And to the extent this is about the NAWL Challenge Club, that I must thank and share this award with all those many people who helped take the NAWL Challenge Club from concept to creation. The Challenge Club was formed and is sustained by those who understand that little things, like providing mentorship and sharing networks and giving access to corporate attorneys, these things can have lasting impact on women lawyers. I'm sure many of you have heard of the butterfly effect of chaos theory. It's the theory that a butterfly flapping its wings in South America can affect weather patterns halfway around the world. It's essentially the theory that little things can have dramatic effects. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. The little things that can make a big difference. First, I look to the gentleman in the room. Thank you for being here. We need more of you. I have three little things I would ask of you to do. I ask you to observe, listen, and react. Observation is merely a way of taking notice, and for me, taking notice of the women in my life came early. My mother, my grandmothers, my sister, my cousins and aunts, my wife today. These were intelligent, creative, and strong women, not one of them in the legal profession. But as I entered the profession, I would find the same. And those women became trusted colleagues and respected mentors. If not for my willingness to observe them as equals, I might not have understood or discovered their immense talents. A lack of holistic observation can prevent us from seeing the issues that have a disparate impact on women in the law, such as the stigmatization of flexible work schedules, the lack of mentorship, sponsorship, and development opportunities, valuing attorneys in units of time, client succession, credit allocation, lack of transparency and implicit bias, and many more. When we fail to see these issues, gentlemen, we do a disservice not only to women, but to ourselves. Men should be interested because marginalizing women does not just limit the economic performance of women, but of our companies, our firms, and our economy as a whole. Gentlemen, we must listen. My wife will tell you this is not one of my greatest attributes. At least I think she does. I'm usually not paying attention. However, the listening to which I'm speaking is not with the ears, but with the heart and the mind. It's that empathetic listening that allows for better understanding. We must listen because it's important. Despite their equal numbers going into it, women historically have not been heard or seen or equally represented in this profession, so it's symbolically important that we listen. We must listen because we don't understand. We must realize that men and women look at things through a different lens, and that's not a flaw or something to be ignored, but an opportunity for better understanding. We must listen because we have not. Too many of us have not paid attention to the myriad impediments facing women in the law, and it starts when we create an open dialogue, either as a group or individually. The important thing is that we start talking, and more importantly, that we start listening. But we also must literally listen for the insults, the pejorative monikers, honey, little lady, sweetie, the debasing advice, you should watch what you're wearing, stop being so emotional, the presumptive questions, why all the drama, you think you'll return after the baby? These misogynistic utterances have no place in society, much less a profession that builds itself on a foundation of justice, ethics, and civility. Men, ask yourself, would I put up with that for 1 second? I doubt you would. Yet for years, and sadly sometimes today, women have faced a barrage of these aspersions, and time and again, for the sake of career over dignity, they've responded with professional restraint. We must listen, and then we must react. React to a system that's in need of re-examination, where we still give greater reward for time spent than value created, where attorneys must work as many hours as possible, no matter their personal situation. A system that values people in hours, but where some hours count less than others. We must react without fear. For too many times, we've been victims of our own self-doubt, to the belief that advances for women only come at an inverse correlation of those for men. But that zero-sum mentality is simply not the case. In fact, studies show the opposite, that men benefit through the betterment of the organization itself. We should support equality for women in the law, not because it's something we're made to do, or, quote, the right thing to do, but because it's the best thing to do. We must react because of the promises we've made. We enter the legal profession by raising our right hand and swearing our fidelity and allegiance to virtues of fairness, integrity, and civility. But we cannot, with credibility, perpetuate these principles upon other people, other professions, unless we correct the inequity in our own. Gentlemen, it's critical that we not only understand, but that we react to inequality, and that we lead others to do the same. Now, ladies, I have 3 little things I seek from you. I ask you to engage, inspire, and persevere. If ever there is to be gender equity in the legal profession, we must engage and persuade men to be involved in the conversation. Men are not the enemy. In fact, their inclusion is a prerequisite to the success of this mission. So I challenge each of you to return and engage at least one male lawyer at your own organization. The key is to engage in honest dialogue in a safe place, to expand your horizon, your own belief system, while educating him on your own. In this way, you can both become agents of change, like Deborah Meyer's so-called tempered radicals, those leaders who politely but forcefully challenge the prevailing wisdom and effectuate cultural transformation. If you truly believe there's a troubling gap at all levels of the law, then to close that gap, you must be willing to boldly engage those on the other side of it. I ask you to inspire. Inspire all women starting out in this profession or thinking about it. All young women wanting to change the world and looking for the profession in which to do it. You are the leaders of law firms and legal departments. You're managing partners, government and military attorneys, your business owners, your professors. Or maybe you're just starting in the law. Maybe you're between legal jobs. More importantly, your mothers, your daughters, your grandmothers, sisters, friends, and colleagues. I believe that no matter who you are or what you are, you can be an inspiration by your accomplishments, your careers, and the little things you do every day. So never focus so much on the fact that the numbers are not where they should be that you lose sight of the numbers that we have. The numbers of undeniably talented women lawyers that inspire other women to follow them into the law. Finally, I ask that you persevere. Persevere on this mission to recruit, retain, and advance women in the law, despite the slow progress we've made. Perseverance takes courage, humility, diligence, and passion. It takes strength of character and sincerity of conviction. So you may ask, how can I classify such as a little thing? Well, when I think of it, I do not think of you. I think of those that came before you, and you know the ones. Margaret Brent, Belle Mansfield, Charlotte Ray, Patsy Mink. And how about 18 women lawyers in 1899 New York, denied admission to other bar organizations, but who would be undeterred, so they started their own. When I think of these women, and many other like them, I imagine them standing at the edge of the woods. A wood so tall they can't see the treetops, so wide they can't see where it ends on either side, so thick they can't see through it, much less walk through it. On the other side of these woods, the equality they sought. These women had two choices. They could turn and go home, or they could start chopping. You know the decision they made, or you wouldn't be sitting here today. At times when they could not own property, hold elected office, or even vote, these women picked up the axes and started chopping down the brush and the trees in hopes they would make a path to the other side. Many of them knew they wouldn't get to the other side, but they persevered in the hope that others would come behind them and pick up the axes, and as they did, the path would become deeper and more clear. Despite the obstacles they faced, they were unrelenting in their desires. They're revered today not because they were without self-doubt or failures, but because they kept clearing the woods despite them. That, friends, is perseverance of the highest order. And by comparison, what I ask is a little thing. So I want to pull this all together by telling you about the little things in my life. I recently had a birthday. It's the one associated with that proverbial hill. You know, when you reach it, you're over that hill. It caused in me a lot of reflection. And one of the things that I realized is that I'd spent much of my time ascending that hill looking for the world I could conquer. But as I approached the top, I started thinking about the world I could leave behind. Make no mistake, I don't think I'll have a long-lasting effect on this world. In fact, for most of us, our names will not echo throughout history. But what I do believe is that our everyday words and actions just might. Through our everyday interactions, we can have immeasurable effects on the future. Little things like how we treat someone with equality, inclusion, and acceptance can dramatically alter his or her outlook, thereby creating that butterfly effect. Even if we're not here to change the world, we can endeavor to change the world in which we live. And for most of us in this room, that world will be spent largely in the legal profession. So someday when we look back on that hill we've climbed, let us know that we did the little things that made a big difference, and we created a better place for women lawyers. And that brings me back to where I started, telling you about the women who've had a profound influence on my life. There was one that I left out. I describe her as 28 pounds of pigtails and perfection. She's my 2.5-year-old daughter, Reagan. I call her Tuffy because when she sets her mind to something, she gets this look of toughness and determination, and you best get out of her way. I don't know about her brother, but Tuffy's going to be my lawyer. How do I know that? Well, I've been to law school. I've argued successfully before juries and appellate courts, but in 2.5 years, I haven't won an argument yet with Tuffy. I don't see that changing. But it was months ago, as I ascended that hill, that I had a rare moment of clarity. And in that moment, I realized there was nothing in my time here that overlaps her time here that I would do to not support her, that my support of her would be unrelenting and without end. And after that moment, I wrote down a series of promises to her, resolutions to myself. In closing, I want to read you just a few. I've never shared them with anyone, but I want to share them to make a point with you now. For Reagan Elizabeth, I will remind you often that you can accomplish anything. I will teach you to stand up for yourself, be proud of yourself, and always be yourself. I will instill in you the value of hard work, relationships, and kindness. I will tell you about times to be patient and times to be zealous. I will prepare you to take risks, but know when to be prudent. I will teach you it's okay to fear, but to never fear failure. I will protect you from evil, but teach you how to fight it. I will live with character, so you will know and have character. I will teach you to lead with your words, deeds, and decisions. I will ingrain in you respect for your elders, your peers, and most importantly, yourself. I will make sure you never give up on your goals and dreams. I will encourage you. I will believe in you. I will show up, stand up, and speak up for you. I will walk a mile before you, so you may walk miles beyond me. I will be there for you, no matter where there needs to be. These are little things, little promises I've made to her in hopes that I can have a big difference in her life. Now, what if we did that for women lawyers? I will encourage her to go to law school. I will recommend her for the job. I will give her honest feedback. I will engage her on what concerns her. I will mentor her, sponsor her, and guide her. I will insist she lead the case and be my first chair at trial. I will demand she get fair credit allocation. I will ask that she be my relationship partner. I will place her on the committee. I will nominate her for the board. I will encourage her. I will believe in her. I will show up, stand up, and speak up for her. I will walk a mile before her so she may walk miles beyond me. I will be there for her no matter where there needs to be. Today, I stand at the edge of the woods. I see a path before me, but one that still needs to be cleared. Today, I cleared the path for Tuffy and all women like her now and in the future who deserve equal opportunity and equal treatment. Today, I rededicate myself to doing the little things that can make a big difference, and I ask each of you to join me. Thank you for this honor.